All right. Good evening. Let me get that screen off. Hey, thanks for joining us, everybody. It is the Political Deep Dive After Dark. I am David Valente. We are joined by Tyler Smith and Emily Hurtley. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
How are y'all doing?
Doing well, actually.
Nice.
Trying to, excuse me, prepare for my last night off of work and enjoy it properly with something that rhymes with puther and comfort.
Oh.
I don't know if we can get sued yet. So.
I'm sorry.
That's my preferred.
That triggered me. Well, story time. Southern Comfort is actually one of the few liquors on my band list that one night I went to the fraternity house and drank a bottle of Southern Comfort, and they dragged me back to my dorm. And so I get in the elevator, and the elevator is 4 floors up, and just the movement of the elevator is making me burpy. And so get off the elevator and immediately just make the beeline to the bathroom. And it's of course, college dorm. It's a big communal bathroom. I get in there and I notice that somebody's in the first stall, so I kick in the door, the third stall. Like I would give at least one stall space to somebody. Kick in the door, the third stall, and I just start blowing chunks, just giving back to the people. And and I'm just miserable at this point. And the poor dude in the first stall, he's like, "Oh God." And then all of a sudden I hear him retching, and I'm thinking there's got to be no worse thing for you to throw up into a toilet you just took a shit in. That's got to be kind of a low point in your life. At least I was thankful that I was not in that place. I was just throwing up Southern Comfort. But from that night on, the thought of Southern Comfort is just kind of tears up my stomach. Scared straight, as I call it.
I can't relate to that.
No.
Anyway, I guess I don't have any real good stories with Southern. That's not true.
It takes a little while for the mind to go file back in the back file.
My mind just broke the lock off of that box we hid under the bed in the back room. I've never been scared straight, but I've almost been drunk straight.
Oh boy. Yeah. So tonight was the Super Bowl number 55, and it was an awful Super Bowl. I mean, I'm sure if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, you're ecstatic, but I mean, really, this game was just not good at all. Like from beginning to end, the refs were too involved in the beginning of the game, and it let Tampa get up to a huge late lead. And then the second half has just been the Tampa Bay defense teeing off on Patrick Mahomes. So, 31-9. It's the first time that Tom Brady's actually had a kind of a blowout win in a Super Bowl. All of his Super Bowls have been relatively close. So, good for him. I hope he retires because I'm honestly just sick of seeing his face. But
I almost turned
away.
How
about that halftime show, though?
Oh God, I actually really liked that halftime. Except for I did not like the audio of the halftime show. The halftime show, it sounded like they were picking up his mic on field mics, like the sideline mics. Usually you have kind of more of a direct feed to the artist with their mic, and it just didn't sound like that. I mean, it was a good show. It was good music. I kind of describe it as cotton candy music, mental fluff. It's not the most important music of our generation, but it was a good show. It was entertaining. I really liked it. So
the visuals were very bizarre for me. I was not into them.
Yeah, the jockstrap masks were a little much. I'm hoping this is not a trend. I do not want that. I don't want Dr. Fauci telling me I got to wear 3 of those.
Wait. Again, I just kept up with the updates. The what now?
So he had a bunch
Their
of
masks
probably
were
about
weird.
50 dancers who looked like they were wearing jock straps for masks. I mean, that's what they looked like. It was very disturbing, and I didn't like the idea of that being the new face mask fashion.
Hold on. Here we go. Let me see if I can find it.
Yes, prepare to be disturbed. And let me find our broadcast so I can catch any questions or stuff going on. Morgan Rigg, who I adore. Morgan's my favorite person.
He's such a sweetheart.
Okay, bye.
We need to get him on. We need to get him on the show at some point.
Well, yeah.
He's awesome.
What is-
But Morgan says just come out and say it. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Okay, I will.
I
Joe
still-
Montana exists and did Guinness commercial. Did the Guinness commercial? So just
Well,
saying.
yeah. I mean, he did, but he's not married to Giselle. So, I mean,
Oh, okay. So there's an underlying reason for
there
this.
is an underlying reason. But I don't have a problem admitting that. I just, if I was Kansas City, I would have sent somebody in the first quarter to shit mix him to the point of incontinence on the field. Even if you take a penalty, you just don't let people like that beat you. But that's just me. And that's why I don't coach.
How about those ethics?
Yes.
But okay, hold on. I just looked it up. I did an image search for what we were talking about. You're talking about the chin straps, right? Like the
No, it was like a full face.
Yeah, it was like
Across the
covering.
back.
It just
It
like
looked
had
like
like
a
eye
jockstrap.
opening. It was weird.
Let me see if I can find it now. I'll share it.
Yeah, because I see like they for whatever reason have bulkier chin straps than normal. I don't know if that's normal, but because I remember I had to wear like the little like thin leather ones.
Shame on me for doing a Google image search. Jesus Christ.
You know what? I had a similar experience earlier. I learned what the Urban Dictionary term juice box meant, and I had to apologize to a couple in Tennessee for announcing that I can't wait to meet up with my juice box crew. So,
Do I
Well,
want to know?
care to share?
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, inquiring minds want to know at this point.
Okay, so juice boxing, the act of juice boxing is using a vodka-stoked tampon. A juice box is apparently a continuous meaning term. This is like there's like 4 definitions. They're all like they each get more disturbing than the last.
So I get what the mask is, and I'll give you the backstory. But let me.
Well, no. Shut up, David. I want to hear it.
Okay, well, no, yeah, go ahead with your story. But
I only. By the way, I learned this from our industrious and hardworking former VP candidate of 2020. I only knew to like look this up because he got confused and asked me what I was talking about. He was like, "Wait, you and the baker?"
okay,
That's not what they were wearing.
So it not exactly, but it was a very close representation of what they were wearing, and I understand what it is. So the Weeknd came out probably about a month ago when his album was dropping, and just to kind of get some I guess hype about the album, there was like this rumor that he got plastic surgery, and there's these images of his lips being like jacked up, like you ever see like a former model with getting the injections in their lips and they look just beat up, and that's what he did this picture kind of like this. It still looks more like a jock strap because it covers the face more, but that's the Weeknd. That was kind of the promotional shots. It was faked, so I'll try and find another picture of it, but yeah, that's I'm just hoping that this is not the new face mask fashion that we're looking at.
Okay, back to juice boxes.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, I had to relook it up to make sure I wasn't misinforming you. The fourth and possibly the worst definition, at least from my perspective, for obvious reasons, once I explain what it is, the sentence for context uses the names Emily and Joey. Which,
We have a very dear friend, Joey, so that's funny.
Well, it's funny, and then I'm like, oh no. So a juice box in this term, and now I understand why people were concerned after I posted that status, you bunch of nasties. I was robbed of my ignorance. It is when a man and a woman are engaging in sexual intercourse, and right, and they're what we know as pre-cum, I guess, because I don't know what the technical term for that is. I'm not a sexologist, but anyway, natural lubricants, what we'll call it, comes out, and it turns the female area into something called a juice box, and it's because it makes a squelching noise.
God.
So I announced that I was super excited to get to the Libertarian Party of Tennessee's convention because I get to hang out with my juice box crew.
It's not nearly as disgusting as I was hoping for.
No, it's not as disgusting, you know, like a Alabama Hot Pocket or anything like that.
Right. Okay.
No, you don't want to know.
It wouldn't be disgusting to you breeders, but no, the human body is nothing to be ashamed of. It was just disturbing because it's like in the context, I tagged the two individuals in this status who both heart reacted it. So now I'm wondering what they're expecting, or if they were just as ignorant as I was.
Yeah.
What did you think you were saying?
So at National Me and these two, they were from the Tennessee delegation, and the lady or the woman had brought little individual box wines. So we called them adult juice boxes, mommy juice boxes. Which, again, now that I'm saying it, I'm getting a little bit sick, gross.
Mommy juice boxes.
Oh, God.
Right.
Anyway.
Fuck, I gotta go. I'm turned on.
So, this is the after hours one, right? We're at the right place.
We're at the right place, yes. There are no limits on the discussions. They used to hurt us in their future political ambitions, but, you know.
God.
So Tim Hagen says, how can this be a post-game spectacular? The game isn't over yet. It was over at halftime, Tim. Let's just be real about that. But you know, it is now finally over. It's a final 31-9. The Kansas City Chiefs have fallen to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One thing about the game, and CBS has been using these cameras. They're Ultra 4D or 4K HD cameras. They don't know how to use them yet, and it's like they've got this brand new technology that they want to incorporate because when they get it right, it does look really kind of cool. It's like almost like you're there, but they don't know how to use it. So like half the time it's out of focus, and you feel like you're drunk watching the game. Like, oh shit, you know, like.
Maybe they were just trying to fuck with everyone who was drunk.
I guess. Oh, anyway, so these are the masks that were on the in the Super Bowl halftime spectacular.
I'm kind of done looking at them.
Right. They're kind of disturbing looking.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
Yeah.
I mean,
hopefully
I'm over masks.
Yeah. That's not the new mask fashion, but you know, oh well.
I mean, I'm not into kink shaming, but maybe don't do it on a platform where millions of people are watching.
You know, hey, if people are into that, you know, then
I mean, yeah, I'm not into that.
Rock it. You know?
Honey, that's not where the jockstrap goes.
I'm sure
it is now, and you're gonna like it.
I mean, if you know about the crunchy panties in Japan, then you know that there's probably a jockstrap fetish out there somewhere. You know, so
wait, crunchy candies in Japan?
No, crunchy panties.
Oh, panties. Oh, okay.
Yes,
edible panties.
You know that's a Japanese thing. Maybe they do have a jockstrap thing as well. I don't know. But anyway,
Wait. The song goes, "I can't feel my face when I'm with you." Is it because they have that on and you really can't feel his face? Was it a literal message?
it could be.
Oh.
Everybody
I
thought
wasn't
it was
listening. I was just
really
watching an abject horror.
It was kind of a weird segment in that whole Super Bowl. But I mean, really, the whole show was kind of cool. I liked it. I just wish the audio on his mic was a little bit better, but it was better than certainly a lot of the last few years Super Bowl shows. So, at least that was good. I didn't even like the commercials for the most part. There were a couple of funny ones, but the commercials were not even that good.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I didn't get overpowered with "we're all in this together" and in these tough times commercials.
Yeah.
The slow piano playing and
depressing us more than we already are.
put a goddamn gun in my mouth. Jesus. So Matt Cholko says, "I'm not a fan of Brady, but there's no argument that he made at this point that he isn't the GOAT." Yeah, I mean, really, Joe Montana is the only other quarterback that you could put in that conversation. But with 7 Super Bowls, it's kind of hard to make that argument. But so, how was everyone's week this week?
I'm slowly starting an AVN Stars account.
Ooh.
Kind of like OnlyFans, but different. I started a Twitter account that is not suitable for work, and
Good, I got something to do at work tomorrow. I don't know.
To my abject horror, a friend from high school contacted me saying, "Oh, hey, Emily, I don't know if you know, but there was, a new Twitter account that Twitter advertised for me to like, and I don't think that you want to necessarily put that out there. Are you sure that's you?" Like, oh my God, why have I done that? I'm sorry, Mom. I just am poor and need more money.
Yep.
Pay me and I'll show you my boobs. Or more.
I got friends do that, and like all the clients want her to see pictures. I'm like, go for it. Like, you make money off of it.
Yeah, I'll show you my boobs for money. Yeah, I got some nice ones. I've been growing them for a long time. What about you, Tyler? What you had an AMA today? Tell us about your AMA.
Yeah, I did. I'm kind of doing it up until Tennessee's convention. Just going to kind of do these frequently over the next couple of weeks. The whole purpose of it
next week.
Do what?
Are you going to talk about juice boxes next week?
Probably not. I'm actually surprised that did not get brought up today.
There you go.
Because I'm gonna keep doing it because I keep posting. I'm gonna keep posting it on my actual page instead of my personal page, because I do want people to come out. I do have people that I've never met before jumping on and asking me questions and everything. I want people to get to know me and understand who they're voting for before before I announce what I'm running for. And I want them to get kind of a feel for the candidate and the person that's running for the spot, not based on their clout or who they know or anything like that. This is who I am. This is what you're going to get most of the time. And honestly, I enjoyed it a lot. I did get presented. I think I mentioned to you before. I got presented with the abortion question, which was fun. Seems like there's no way if you're in the libertarian circles to avoid that question.
Nothing gives me the Forrest Whitaker eye quite like the abortion question.
Well, never mind. You keep talking.
And that's why, because we all like want to just like go into it.
Exactly. Oh,
The claws are out, Miss Kitty. Anyway. No, but I did. I was, I did. It was David I was talking to earlier, but I answered it. But it was like a 35 minute response, and I was like, just so you know, I apologize for being so long-winded, but if ever I get quoted out of something I've said here today, it will never be taken out of context. So, because I will give you an entire dissertation on it. So. But yeah, no, I have my stances on it. I think I made it abundantly clear, but I'm not going to 35-minute on the political deep dive about it. So,
because that's what we want is a 35-minute.
Right? Yeah, you know, who doesn't enjoy
Nothing.
going over abortion like new American pastime, bro?
I mean, nothing makes me contemplate ritualistic suicide quite like the abortion debates at the National Convention. So, 5 hours of us doing nothing that we did before, this keeping the same plank that we had, just wasting 5 hours discussing it.
That's funny.
Aaron Rodgers is better, though. I said what I said. There is direct evidence that to the contrary on that one, since Tom Brady, beat him he beat him and won the Super Bowl this year. Aaron Rodgers is a fantastic quarterback. He just didn't get it done this year. But thanks for the comment. And yeah, that's Karen Zagorski. She's on Twitter. We got some comments from Facebook. All right, the Alexa commercial was the best commercial of the night. Am I right, ladies? I can't remember what the Alexa commercial was. I must have missed that one. Terry, I can throw something at you there. He's no Tom Brady. Okay, I get that. Blake and Gwen commercial was the best. I did like that one. That was like a T-Mobile commercial where back before Gwen and Blake started dating. She calls Adam Levine and says that she's ready to date, and she starts talking about her ideal man, and he doesn't get the whole message because her cell service sucks and it's glitchy. So he hears like strong country, just completely misunderstands the message and then sets her up with Blake, and that's how they get hooked up. It was a very funny commercial. That was probably one of the funnier commercials. I did like that one.
I like their little rivalry that Blake and Adam Levine have.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't watch that show all that much. I mean, I just got so over the music competition shows. Probably after like the second year of American Idol, and then when they started spending like the first half where they were like doing the tryouts and stuff, and people were just showing up to be dumbasses. I got real tired of that quickly, and I just stopped.
The William Hung effect.
Yeah, the William Hung effect, and it got annoying.
Yeah, that's kind of why I quit watching a lot of them. I'll be honest, because like it was obvious that's what some of them were trying to do. Like, what was that one short-haired blonde girl that she was in there singing like, I don't even remember what she's singing, but she went like from this like sweet innocent little person to like saying like, the voices tell me I gotta kill Simon, like on live TV. Like, no big deal.
No.
It's a no from me.
I stopped watching because of the word pitchy. It's meaningless and it infuriates me.
Yeah, I mean, I
know what they mean. What they mean is out of tune.
Yes. Every
note that you sing is a pitch and therefore pitchy. And they need to fuck off. That's all. Sorry. I feel a little strongly.
That works. Hey. Well, you're the resident songbird, so you know your shit.
I have a 4-year degree in music, so it's
yeah.
I have to have something to be pretentious about. Come on.
There you go. Hey. I watched, and whenever they said pitchy, I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, what else? So last week we talked a little bit about the coup in Myanmar. This week, there's been pressure put on to try and release Aung San Suu Kyi, as the Biden administration, several international countries have reached out to try and get her release. Last night, the worrying thing was that China shut down, like, not just Facebook and Twitter. They shut down all their internet, shut down power, uh, kind of leading people to think that they're going to do something here pretty soon, pretty horrible. So, because interestingly enough, this, because usually when the military done stuff in the past, there wasn't a whole lot of protests, like people in the street protests. This one has been met with a lot more protests from people in the street. So I don't know. Hopefully the military bends to the pressure, but I don't think so. I think they're gonna crack down pretty hard.
Oof. Yeah, something's what was it? They're in a tiff with somebody right now in that region. Is I think it's Australia. I'm trying to remember. But
Well, they are, because Australia kind of tries to keep some influence in the Southeast Asian region.
right.
Really, it's more their problem is with Bangladesh, and the fact that Bangladesh has been hosting the Rohingya minority that's been pushed out of the country for a few years, and that's why why Myanmar has been before the World Court on genocide charges, and why inexplicably that Aung San Suu Kyi threw away her entire international reputation defending these fuckbags before the World Court.
Well, that answers my question. So they are here.
There you go.
No, because I seem to recall this happened a couple of years ago too, where they started having like major blackouts in bigger cities and stuff like that. And they blamed it on a coal shortage or something. I don't even remember, but yeah, like, so like you said, they've ordered like media blackouts too, like social medias and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
like,
no, it's a complete blackout. They're cutting power. They're cutting like all media has been shut down. Yeah, they're ramping up for something.
Huh. What's that movie where all the rich people escape the Earth on a giant spaceship? Because it's like ended.
I can't remember the name of it.
Like, it was a bunch of rich people, and like the protagonist is like this, like, lower class. Anyway, maybe they know something we don't. Like, maybe it's not malicious. Maybe it's just like, not our problem. Like, maybe they're Ayn Randing us. That's not mine. We don't care.
Yeah. Fine.
Sorry, no, like I see a lot, like, like I said, I think a couple years ago they were having like stuff like this happen and everything, and what it had turned out to be like, it was like something like a coal shortage, which I doubt that's the case. If they're like doing everything, yeah, it seems like there is something bad going on. And to be quite honest, I'm not very knowledgeable on the Far Eastern world's politics or anything like that, so I couldn't tell you other than it ain't gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one of my stronger regions when it comes to international affairs, but it's been an international hotspot enough over the years that you kind of pick up what's going on over there. But
Right.
yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, this week is better than last week, but I'm not too hopeful. Charles Hall says that the commercials suck this year. I absolutely agree. As far as quality, you're never going to beat Terry Tate. Those Super Bowl commercials were the best ever. But yeah, this year just didn't have anything that was like long-term memorable. You'll probably see them like 4 billion times to make them somewhat memorable, but I'm not seeing any award-winning ads out of this this Super Bowl. So, although I did like the Rocket Mortgage ones, also with Tracy Morgan. Those were moderately funny.
What was it? There was another commercial. I think like Maya Rudolph was in it. If I'm remembering the correct name. I don't know. Like I saw that one whenever we were like going back and forth between a stream of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't finish watching it. It was like for a clothing company or something. But yeah, she was in it. But I was like, I hope her commercial was at least funny, because she's a funny lady. But if nobody even remembers seeing her, it's probably not. So, but yeah, I like I said, I kept up like just with like Google updates and everything like that as to what was going on, because I tried watching and I was just like, this is boring.
Yeah. Kathy Hedges Grove says, miss the Clydesdales. And she's right. I didn't see a Clydesdales ad this year.
Oh, yeah.
Always a Clydesdales ad for Budweiser on the Super Bowl.
It's tradition.
Yeah.
And how's your
it's so far from winter that you don't have that classic Clydesdales clopping through the snow type stuff. That, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I was reading a little bit about it earlier. Pepsi and Coke pulled their advertisements for the Super Bowl this year too.
Well, Pepsi did they sponsor the halftime, but right. But there was one for Bud Light seltzer. They did one that had, people are outside walking and all of a sudden lemons start falling from the sky. It's like, the beginning of 2020 and, lemons start falling from the sky and, how bad the year is. And it was funny. But then they did something that, just kind of cheeses me. Like when somebody, they pushed it a little too far because, the ad was funny because it was like, when life hands you lemons, you make lemonade, and it was Bud Light seltzer lemonade. Cute. Okay. But then they come back from commercial and there's like the dude with sign. Have you ever seen the website, the dude with a sign, and it's like a dude holding up a sign with like all these things like, this could have been an email, or this meeting could have been an email. And it's just like this cardboard sign of, various things that he said, various world truths, I guess. But he's sitting there in the stands with a life hands you lemons, make lemonade, with the lemons on the sign to, tie in with the ad. And I was like,
a shitty commercial for a shitty Super Bowl about shitty beer.
Yes.
Damn it.
I don't trust seltzer. I mean, that, to me, it's the La Croix effect. Like,
yes.
La Croix is lying about having flavors. La Croix lies about having flavors. Like, you get a can and it has like, ooh, berry, or ooh, lemon, or whatever, and you crack it open and it's seltzer water. I mean, it's just that is the biggest scam in the world. Like,
it's the taste of a scent of a candle.
A grape farted near this thing, and that's why it's great. I never get it that way.
I like the analogy is like someone is in the other room and says the name of a fruit.
It's like it's strawberry. Yes. Strawberry flavored strawberry. We washed it with, we washed it and you're drinking the dirty, field water from it. That's what you're drinking. And the same thing with seltzer. Seltzer beer, like, it doesn't have any flavor. It's just seltzer water. You're buying, just put some gin in there. I think that's the only acceptable use of La Croix, is to just put gin in it.
Well, now I want to do that.
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah.
I have a friend.
Buy La Croix. I'll just get the cheap seltzer bottle from the store.
Yeah.
I have a friend.
Is overpriced.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry. I have a friend that he mixes flavored vodkas into it because he's like, at least the vodka's got the flavor.
There you go.
What went so wrong in life if that's what we're saying about our alcohol? At least the vodka had flavor.
Yeah.
That sounds really good, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I could do that, but again, get the cheap seltzer water. Don't buy La Croix because the La Croix is overpriced. Oh, there was another commercial that was, at least on my Facebook feed, universally hated. It's a company called Oatly that makes
that was weird.
milk. And it was a dude playing a keyboard. It was like the owner of the company playing a keyboard and talking about Oatly milk. And it was pitchy.
Shut up.
Shut up, man. It was definitely out of key. It was I don't even know what key he was trying to hit there. And it was awful. And $5.5 million, man. And I hear people say, well, he's well, it's very brilliant because everyone's talking about it now, but I don't know. Sometimes when you do something that bad, it kind of turns people off to just actually trying your product. Like I didn't see anything in the ad that was like, ooh, I gotta try Oatly milk. No.
Well, you don't strike me as their demographic, but well, that was my point.
I don't drink milk, so I do drink almond milk, nut juice. I'll take the nut juice in my mouth all the time.
So do I. Oh wait, no, I like coconut milk. Sorry.
With the jockstrap mask and a juice box, right?
Yes.
Tie it all in there.
Pop this on.
Emily, idea for a video for your AV thing.
There you go, man.
Wait. Yeah. Oh, hey. Just me trying nut juice.
Take a mouthful of nut juice. I swallow that nut juice down. $85.
You need to stop before I chug this. I'm gonna need this.
Yeah, we have gone off the rails tonight. We are way into the.
It sounds like we're about to sit on one the way you're talking.
Yeah,
sit on one or shit on one. Like I didn't quite hear you, so I need to know what kind of thing I'm working with.
It depends. We don't kink shame here.
Right, exactly.
Yannick Lewis says, "Who bet the over under?" You know what? I didn't. Didn't bet the Super Bowl this year. It was 50. They scored 56 tonight. I saw some of the lines, and I thought it was 55 was the over under, which you're betting whether they score the total points is more than 56 or under 56. I don't know. I mean, I just have a hard time sometimes getting into the whole betting thing. I think I got turned off of the whole FanDuel like 10 years ago when FanDuel and DraftKings were like on every commercial that you like. Every time you turn on the TV, you're watching these, kind of millennial douchebags talking about FanDuel and DraftKings, and it was just like, just get the fuck off my screen. Like I couldn't watch it. I'm a big sports fan, so I'm watching sports all the time. I'm watching hockey. I'm watching baseball. I'm watching football, and like every damn commercial was, these kind of meatheads talking about how they're making $75,000 a year on FanDuel, and I'm like, don't tell that shit in front of the damn IRS. That's don't be dumb. But I'm glad they got kind of shut down there for a while, because I think that allowed them to kind of moderate their advertising, because they went so heavy so hard for so long that when they came back and they started getting more legal, that they didn't that they knew that coming back they didn't have to advertise as heavy as they did and be as obnoxious about it.
I want to be obnoxious for a second. You said the IRS, and what can we do to end the IRS?
Well, that depends. Are libertarians in favor or against burning shit down? What week is it? Because I have an idea.
So you can take a look at certain proposals that won't completely get rid of taxes. Something along the lines of a flat tax, or where you would definitely be able to kind of minimize the abuse of the IRS. If you got rid of deductions, you got rid of things like that. It was just a straight like 10% flat tax or whatever. You can have that conversation, which minimizes the IRS without completely.
I said end.
without completely gutting the federal government, you're going to have an IRS. I mean, it's just I know there are many bricks that I would love to tear down, but you have to go in order, because if you don't, then you're going to pull the wall down on top of yourself.
Not necessarily.
Well, probably. Well, the way I am, I'm klutzy, so.
All right, so David cannot lead the revolution. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Right. Duly noted.
Or at least give me a safe job.
No, don't you remember when we established our warlord territories? Papa Duke, Sassmaster. What you had one too, Emily? You named yourself though, and I can't remember what it was.
Well, it's my Twitter name, Duchess Desire.
Yes, Duchess.
What was it? Hold on a sec. I gotta hear this. Well, I mean, I need to hear it because I need to do at work tomorrow. So.
Well, so my handle is @desire_Duchess, but Duchess
Okay.
Desire is my name. It's a play on Desaad.
Yes.
Because I'm not quite that hardcore, but
There you go. All
there
right.
we go.
Muy bueno.
I'm not really good for politics. I'm just good to talk about sex. Like that's my only area of expertise. And dogs.
Okay, that kid gets really that guy.
I didn't mean that to be together.
Yes. I was assuming that. It is 2021. Tyler got silent.
Oh wow! That's kind of where I'm at. Like,
throwing crosses. Oh.
I'm not into that. Let's talk about something else. Maybe we should talk about politics.
I think I'm recovered enough to comment on this now. So we go from explaining our warlord names in a post-apocalyptic revolution, or a post-revolutionary apocalypse is what I meant to say.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, somewhere, we just landed in bestiality without missing a fucking beat. And
because I'm a part of this conversation. I am a deviant.
Well, no, you know what? I mean, let's roll down that road. I'm good. Let's have fun.
I'm the asshole on the road trip that'll point out how long we've been on the road making time drag on longer. This is my version of that.
Are we there yet?
I don't really want to go down the road of besiality.
If I bring up open borders, we're talking about
not a front road. I don't think so. All right. So one really good piece of news that I saw this week from the media is that Lou Dobbs got shit canned by Fox. Have you ever watched this show? I mean, it couldn't have been any more obvious if he was just straight up blowing Trump on the air, like just balls deep, and it's probably not that deep, but he got it all in. He was just such an awful, and even by Fox News standards, I mean, I would actually put him as somewhat worse than Hannity and Mother Tucker Carlson.
So you bring my ex-boyfriend into this.
Oh, Tucker Carlson.
I can't help it that he's pretty.
But to me that was great news, because that guy's just. But I wish they would give his time slot to Kennedy. I would love to see Kennedy go for 3 hours a night.
Well, yeah, she's hot.
Well, yeah, and that's there are so many issues from the 90s with Kennedy for me, so just kept on going. Every time I see her, I'm like,
I'll talk about it.
I'm scared to jump in the car.
Hey, Kennedy is,
because we've already talked about how she can go 3 hours a night, and you're talking about how she's hot, and again, it's just falling right back into it. There's that cactus again.
It's me.
No, I
Actually,
mean,
talking
not
about
only
sex
is
toys
it
with a guy right now, so I mean, it's kind of
there you go.
where I'm at.
But it's not just that I think she's hot. I really dig the content of her show. I dig the kind of quirky craziness of her show. Um, um, we kind of need more of that in politics because they, like you watch other shows and it turns into this just yelling shit show. Or it becomes kind of this only one point of view, and they're telling us how bad the other side is. um you don't see that in Kennedy's show. It's not this kind of scream fest, or it's not this oh, we're awesome, because I mean she does call us out when we do dumb shit, which thankfully for us, our dumb shit doesn't rarely make the media. I mean, outside of James Weeks and Bill Weld.
That's the only part of us that makes the media.
Yeah, that's the only time that we really hit the media is like James Weeks and Bill Weld. I mean that really was, and then Aleppo. But I don't. Her show actually focuses on the issues, and I really enjoy it. And I would hope that Fox Business does give her a little bit longer of a time slot instead of just bringing over some other guy that's going to be not quite as horrible as Lou Dobbs. But for now they're kind of continuing that show, but they're going to have a couple of rotating hosts come into it, but they're not Kennedy. I love you, Kennedy. I'll come on this anytime, Kennedy, please. Invite me on your show.
Tell me about your childhood while we're at next.
Oh boy!
Like the way you said it too. I love you, Kennedy. Like I wasn't even looking at you, but I saw your exact face.
Yeah, we've completely gone off the rails tonight, but that's fine. I hope people will love us being off the rails. Emily, you need an eye exam. Oh, I think that's in reference to the Tucker Carlson comment.
Oh, I see. Well, yeah,
it's an acquired taste, I guess. I wouldn't want
I guess. I don't know. As long as he didn't like open his mouth. I just like looking at him, I have a large and varied taste in men.
Oh, well, yeah.
And women.
Yeah.
I like
varied taste in women, so yeah. All right. Let's see. Anything else for the week? Let's see. Let's take a look at the news headlines tonight. South Africa pauses their AstraZeneca vaccine rollout. Decision comes after a study showed it offered reduced protection from the COVID-19 variant that they have in their country. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's a reduced protection. I don't know. I mean, maybe continue to put the vaccine out there that offers at least some protection rather than just completely cut it off. But I don't know.
So just AstraZeneca, is that the only company?
I think that's the only one that's in South Africa right now. Because I know that some of the other variants have been tested against the South African variant and show a little bit better. So hopefully they got other vaccines in the country that can help them. But if not, then the situation's just going to get worse there.
Huh. It's just a weird way to word the headline too, because I just wanted to look. I was like, really? Because AstraZeneca is not really one of the ones I've heard of that get a bad rap, or maybe I'm thinking of the other way around and Pfizer's the innocent one. I don't even remember. But anyway, I was reading like the way they worded the headline, like because it shows it offers less protection against the variant. Like, do they have access to something that is stronger, or is this just like because it doesn't really stop it, or it doesn't like completely stop it, it just slows it down. We don't want it at all. Like, I don't know. It's just a weird way to word the headline.
I
How
agree.
Emily? Yeah, like that's a weird way to word it, right? Like
Yeah.
why wouldn't you just use that to slow it down at that point? Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I kind of like am sympathetic to the controversy surrounding the vaccine, because it's like there's a lot of weird stuff that is going on that don't make like big news. We're too busy like looking for the people who had an allergic reaction and saying, "See, I did that." It's like, well, yeah, people are allergic to things. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't get the polio vaccine, weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, I don't know. It's like, but it goes beyond that. This is like stuff that's like very weird to me. Like, why wouldn't you still? Because it's not like you have a better option right now. I don't know. It's weird to me.
I
cynical.
agree. I'm kind of I'm really I'm not in general a conspiracy theorist, but this whole damn thing, just the timing of it and the weirdness of it, like from not just the vaccines but COVID itself. And I know that pandemics happen historically, and we're overdue for one. That's not my point, but like it just all seems very convenient and plays into the hands of governments all over the world that have been increasingly unmasked as disgustingly corrupt. And the more that they push a vaccine on me, the less I trust it. And that's illogical.
I get that. I mean, I still want to take it. Karen Zagorski actually comes up with a couple of good points. It's about 60% effective. With the reduced protection, it may go down to 30, and the vaccination may lead to insensitivity, which I think that is probably why they're pulling it, is that if you give somebody a vaccine that's bad, then it's going to make you insensitive to the better vaccine. So makes sense. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate that.
Yes.
I think it might be pronounced Karen. Me and him talk a lot. So.
Oh, okay. Karen. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right.
Well,
I could be butchering that, and I'll find out after we get done with the show, because I will get a message in my inbox saying you didn't even come close.
Well, yeah. But thanks for everyone coming tonight. I didn't know how we were going to have, because how big a following we were going to have, because the Super Bowl just happened, and didn't know that people will be staying up after it to hang out with us. I really appreciate everyone doing that.
I got the name right.
Let's see. Any other stuff? Despite pandemic, U.S. airlines are rolling in cash. That's not a surprise. You give them a bailout, they're going to, and then allow them to fire a bunch of workers. They're going to be able to use that money that they stockpiled from the bailouts to make money. And they're still flying. They're still packing those airlines in. I don't know if you guys have flown recently. The last time I flew was in September. I'm sorry. I flew at Thanksgiving down to Georgia. That flight was full. The one I flew in September was full to Minneapolis, and back from Minneapolis.
I flew in August, and my flights were full.
Yeah. So I mean, they definitely no longer do the protecting everybody and 6 feet of space. I mean, there's no 6 feet of space in an airline when you're packed in like that. There's there's not 6 feet of space with the people behind you. I mean, it's an interesting thing where they're pushing this idea that quarantine and not be 6 feet. Be 6 feet apart and wear your masks. For my flight down to Georgia, I wore like the face shield and the mask just because I knew I was going to be packed in. But we put this out for like just a common grocery store where you might kind of bump into somebody in their cart, just briefly. But when it comes to airlines, you're like, oh, that's cool. Wear a mask, have fun, stay in that tin can for 2 hours. So I don't know, but the airlines are doing well, and it not a surprise. And when we do another bailout, they'll probably get another stack of cash as well. Although I'm looking to adopt kids because I'm hearing that they're going to do a $3,000 per child
Jesus Christ.
next bailout. So if you want me to take your kids off your hands for a couple months, I'll be happy to do that for you. I'll even split it with you. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna get in a bubble. Just stay away from me. Yeah, it's just I lost my train of thought. We were talking about that vaccine and why it was like, you get okay. That's what I was reading. The vaccine thing. There's this news site I follow that was they kind of specialize on being news, but news that isn't news. Like they call out fake news and report it as and today a shocking bunch of nothing happened, but according to the Daily Caller, World War III just broke out.
Yeah.
And it just goes through. Like one of them was like this one of these crazy like vaccine reaction stories that started getting really popular on like Daily Caller, Daily Mirror, like more the conservative, very hard right-leaning media outlets. But it was essentially mocking them because they were grasping at a lot of things, saying, "Oh, this is an adverse reaction to the vaccine" and stuff like that. And I think it was either today or yesterday that they released the story. It's like trusted sources at One America News Network have led us to. But yeah, they're kind of satire, but they're kind of like legitimately reporting news. It's one of those weird things. Yeah,
I told you the day that the big Capitol meltdown. I turned on because I was watching CNN. And of course, they were outraged. Even Fox, to an extent, was outraged. They're a little more cautious in their terminology that they were using. So I was like, I got to see what these the nutbag networks are saying, and MSNBC was suitably apoplectic or apocalyptic actually, and I don't have One American News Network. I used to have them when I was in Virginia, but I do have Newsmax. I turned it on for about 30 seconds, and instead of the whole Capitol meltdown, they were talking about Donald Trump being banned from Twitter and that it was communism. It was like I was on that channel for about 2 minutes, and a minute and a half of that was commercials selling beet products. So only 30 seconds of airtime, and I was like, oh, I gotta go. I can't watch. Like no, Newsmax is ridiculous. Although it's funny because they, this last week they had Newsmax had Mike Lindell, America's favorite pillow person, and
the next governor of Minnesota. You mean?
Oh God, is he running for Minnesota?
I think that's what I read. I believe so.
Yeah.
So he comes on there and he starts spouting the whole bullshit about the election being stolen and the Dominion voting systems and Newsmax. I know Newsmax, One American News Network, and Fox News have all been sued by Dominion for defamation. And as soon as he starts talking about Dominion, the host is like, Mike, we can't talk about this. We can't talk about this. We don't know anything about this. All the elections have been settled, and it's there was no fraud found or anything like that. And Mike was sitting there just talking away about there's so much evidence about the Dominion voting stealing votes from the Trump campaign, that Trump won by millions of votes. And like they the host, I believe, walked off the set. Like, they're afraid at this point. They know that they've been pushing bullshit. And when they go into court, this company is going to make a lot of money off of One American News Network and Newsmax. They'll probably own one or both of those news networks. And then Fox News will probably win a good amount of money off of them. But yeah, it was that was entertaining. That Newsmax has kind of got religion on the whole election fraud stuff.
Oh, God. Well, I watched a little bit of I used to actually pick up Newsmax and read it a lot just because I'm not even gonna lie, I thought like it was kind of like what I was referring to earlier. It's like it's kind of satire, kind of not. And no, they're just all batshit crazy. I remember the last edition of Newsmax was talking about a war on Christianity and everything like that, and whether or not wherever somebody falls in that debate, I don't. That's of no consequence. But it was the way it was presented and written in these articles and stuff. And I still remember that was the last time I picked up that magazine because
I nearly died at the Battle of Hanukkah Corners.
yeah, right. It was some insanity because I was like at this point I was like starting to come into my own politically speaking, and I was trying to like have a new reverence for individualism. And I was just reading it. I was like, is this what I actually sounded like? Holy fuck, this guy's insane. Like, oh.
Traditional die-in-the-wool Republicans, even the neocons didn't sound like that until really Trump comes along. And then Newsmax always kind of operated in that weird kind of Breitbart space. And, they were kind of the original media shit posters. And, Breitbart gets brought into the Trump White House and becomes more, I wouldn't say mainstream, but at least accepted as an actual news source for Republicans who were starting to really hop on that Trump train. But the whole discourse of the country when it comes to politics just took such a nosedive.
Mm-hmm.
The election of Trump. So what are you guys' feelings? Because we're going to start getting into the hot and heavy part of the trial, I guess, this week with Trump. What are your feelings? Do you think he should be convicted and barred from office? And two, do you think he will?
Yes, no.
So my mom and I are very close. I love her very much. She's a very smart woman and she raised two libertarians. But she is on the Trump train.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have for the past 4 years just kind of kept out of it because I love her very much. And I don't feel like picking a fight with her. And I know I would if I knew more. So what I know is that people I trust with strong senses of logic say that yes, he should be convicted. So I'll say yes, but no, I don't think he will be.
Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength. I think when they did that that earlier vote to see if they were going to kick out some of the charges, that Rand Paul wanted to see done, that was definitely a signal that they don't have. They got about 5 Republican votes to convict. They don't have the 17 that they need. So, do I think he should be convicted and barred? Absolutely. Do I think that they'll convict him? No, not at all. I think you'll probably see around. You might get a couple kind of flip to conviction. but they're also seeing what's happening with their colleagues, like Liz Cheney in Wyoming, who pox in the Cheney house, but uh, she got censured by the Wyoming GOP because she voted for impeachment. And you're seeing the same thing. And these people that did vote for impeachment in the House will probably all get these batshit crazy Trumpers challenging them in the primary this year, or next year.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think yeah, that he should be ousted and barred. But it's like, I think we're all in agreement. It's not going to happen. And a reason I personally don't think it's going to happen is he's too instrumental to that political ping pong game I mentioned a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He stirs these people up and continues the game, even though, for whatever reason, his base is still convinced that he is this white knight that's here to save us from. I don't even know what their boogeyman is this week, but
the Republicans, by and large, know that they need him, at least his base. They need his votes to get reelected. Because when you talk about gerrymandering, what they do with gerrymandering is they hack as many. Let's say you're in a Republican state, Republican legislature, and we'll be getting into this later this year when the census numbers are released and we start talking about apportionment, not only in the United States but within the states themselves. But for gerrymandering, they pack as many of the minority party into as few districts as you can. So you've got these like 90% Democrat districts or 90% Republican districts that are very few and far between, and then you've got a little bit more, but still advantaged districts for whoever the majority party is. But what this does is that if you're a Republican in a Republican state where you've gerrymandered, all the Democrats into small districts, and you're in a 55-45 split district, if you lose all the Trump voters, you're not going to get reelected. So that's why he's going to hold sway over this party for, unless they just do the deed and kick him out, or he succeeds and literally does take over the party, wherever that battle that's going to come for them, however it resolves. I think the Republicans are going to have issues over the next few years, getting people elected, and people who were Republicans or that lose out are going to form their own party or do whatever they exist in the political fringes, while the smaller remaining GOP suffers at the ballot box.
I hate gerrymandering.
Yeah, gerrymandering sucks.
It's evil.
I remember that when I was in Georgia, when the GOP took over, they drew these lines. There was a district that started in Cobb County, which is northwest of Atlanta, which is where Marietta is at, and it went up like Rome into North Georgia, Dalton area, and it went literally along the border of North Georgia and Tennessee to the North Carolina border, down the South Carolina border, and into this little town. I think it was Toccoa, Georgia. But this district was hundreds of miles long for a state Senate district. Like none of these communities had anything to do with each other.
Yeah.
And it was just, and back then there was the ability to review those cases, those district lines by the Supreme Court, because it's still under the 65 Civil Rights or 64 Civil Rights Act, and they were eventually thrown out. But it just allowed them to draw one that was just a slightly less offensive. and the same thing happens in Maryland is one of the best examples for the Democrats. The districts there are just awful. Chicago is awful. They've got some awful districts there. So it's not a It's not a partisan issue. I mean, it's not like, oh, just the Republicans do gerrymandering.
Mm-mm.
It's wherever you have a state where the one party has principally taken over and can draw the lines like that. We're going to see that in West Virginia this year because we just had a massive takeover by the Republican Party. And it's the first time in like 80 years they're going to have the ability to draw the lines. But it doesn't always work out. I mean, just remember that West Virginia's last lines were drawn by Democrats, and now we've got a supermajority based off of those lines for Republicans. So it can change. Just depends on
We're
how
coming for you, Virginia.
What's that?
What?
Mm-hmm.
I was warning. I was like, we're coming for you, Virginia.
Yeah, we're going to take Virginia.
We're taking what's ours back.
That was one of the things last year with the state legislature. They started, once Virginia started doing their gun control measures, there was serious. Well, I mean, there were some serious overtures about, hey, let's see if Winchester wants to come into West Virginia. Let's see if all these border counties on the West Virginia border want to secede from Virginia and come over to West Virginia. It would be a interesting political debate if that were to happen. If let's say they had a plebiscite and all these counties voted to join West Virginia, how would they go about that in the U.S. Congress? Because they would have to arbitrate that handover if it were to happen. It'd be the only thing that would keep West Virginia from losing a congressional district this year, though.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kathy Edgers-Grove says she's a proponent of the popular vote. Getting rid of the electoral college. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I still think that there's something about having the states have a say in it. At least, our state vote has a say in it. It's one of those issues for me. I don't have like a really hot, passionate, like, oh, you've got to have the electoral vote or you don't have to have the electoral vote.
I am a pretty strong proponent of having the electoral college, but I don't really want a federal government anyway.
Right.
So
I
take that for what it is.
I'm on both sides of the fence here. Shocker. Had to be one of us. I'll take the heat. Anyway, no, I'm kind of see both sides of it. Like I would prefer to get rid of something like that controls the vote as in the way that it does for good reasons, and then for some that are supposed to be good reasons but get manipulated. That being said, I'm also a very big proponent of if we have to vote and choose our rulers, as Emily said, I'm very much preferential to more comfy with the concept of anarchy than I am any type of statism. So I would rather, if we do have to continue to tiptoe towards that, then I'd rather see ranked choice voting take the place of an electoral college. So
I would love
that. Until people are willing to have that type of conversation instead of, well, it's got to be one or the other.
Right.
We're stalemated right now, and we're going to keep getting leaders that are shittier and shittier.
Yeah. I mean, ranked choice voting, it's not a complete panacea, but it's gonna be it's a lot better than what we've got going right now. And hopefully we can start seeing it spread more. I was disappointed that Massachusetts flubbed their attempt at it. And Maine didn't really get a competitive enough election to force a look at how ranked choice voting would work on a federal election. But one of the things I actually do like, the idea that I do like, that it would really mean that we'd have to get rid of gerrymandering. Basically having computers draw lines for districting is do what Maine and Nebraska do, where you run for the office, or you're running for president, if you win the statewide vote, you get 2 electoral votes based on the senators that you have for that state. And if you win a congressional district, like let's say the opposite party wins the congressional district, they pick up that congressional district, so that you still give value to smaller regions within states for presidential candidates to go visit and try and raise their profile in each of those districts. That's the only that's the big. If we were going to toy with the electoral college, that's the big thing that I would like to see happen. Is all states go to that Nebraska, Maine model.
Hmm.
We're so chatty. I got you thinking.
No, I'm not. I'm not thinking. I'm exhausted. It's been a long week.
Yeah, it has been a long week, and I actually worked today, so it kind of sucked for me.
So did I. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd work, then the Super Bowl party, and then this.
How many people did you guys have there?
5. It was pretty small. Yeah.
It was just me and my wife, so we were just chilling, eating pigs in a blanket. Very tasty.
Yeah, they made some interesting food. I had pickled Brussels sprouts. It was actually pretty good. And he called them pickleback wings. I've never heard of them, but they kind of tasted like pickles. They were all right.
Wings? Like chicken wings?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some Midwestern shit right there.
Yeah.
That's, I like pickles. I like dill pickles. I like sour pickles. Don't give me the sweet pickle shit. I hate
Oh yeah, I know. That's
All the
gross.
bread and butters.
bread and butters are nasty.
Mhm.
But the whole propensity to pickle everything, that is very, very Midwestern, and kind of that Great Depression type stuff.
Yeah.
Pickle everything. Not my thing. But I will try any food. So if somebody puts pickled wings in front of me, I'll take them down.
They were good. I don't know if I would. What?
Were they kind of dill salty pickle?
Oh yeah, no, they certainly weren't sweet.
Good. I could probably do that.
Yeah. It was interesting. I don't know if I would seek out the recipe, but
Kathy Hedges Grove has a legitimate question about the legalization of cannabis. Yeah, fire away. I'll be watching for your question. I will note that all 3 of us are very big cannabis legalization advocates.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, God damn it. I live in an illegal state. I can't wait
I
till
live in a legalized state, like recreationally, but the nearest dispensary is an hour away because the city council of where I live is just stupid. And you want to talk to John Phillips about this because he's been much more involved since I'm very new to this city. But
yeah,
man, like
I
want to get high. I don't have time to drive an hour each way.
Yeah, and then you got that shit sitting next to you for an hour as you were driving back. I mean,
I know, right? And I do
you don't
edibles,
want that car ride taking 2 hours because you popped an edible and all of a sudden everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's super illegal. Not that I've ever done anything like that before, ever.
So she needs. I don't know what that means, but anyway. So yeah, we are. West Virginia is a state that has legalized medicinal marijuana for very few conditions, very limited conditions. Thankfully, I have a little bit of neuropathy, and hopefully, I can get qualified.
Oh yeah, thankfully.
Thankfully, I got neuropathy. I got conditions. God damn. Well, it's better than having cancer or something like that. Shit.
Jesus.
I don't know if, I always tell even the Republicans I talk to in the state legislature, I'm like, look, this is like prime ground for you to grow cannabis. Like this is a great area to grow cannabis. We're just, it does really well in, high terrain and I I just think that we're missing out on the opportunity of becoming kind of a destination, especially if you want to grow tourism, becoming a destination for cannabis. If you can grow cannabis, not slap the massive excise taxes that some states put on it, like Colorado, Washington. It's like what? I can't remember what.
The taxes were bad in Washington, but they weren't as bad as Illinois.
Yeah,
But I don't know the number off the top of my head.
I think it's like 20% excise tax or something along those lines, and then there are some other goodie fees that they top off on that to get as many fingers into the pot game as possible.
Yeah.
Because it's a big moneymaker. But if you keep the taxes low on it, let's say you put a 5% excise tax, the state's still making money on it. But the price of that cannabis is so low that you're going to draw people from, the district, Maryland, Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio. You're going to draw them in because you have cheaper cannabis, and you can do, cannabis tourism. You can, have a weed and bee hotel type situation.
Awesome idea.
Yeah. I mean, these are things that we should be taking advantage on, but they're not doing it. They don't want to do it. I posted a story that the gubernatorial candidate for the GOP in Virginia retweeted a delegate who says that we can't legalize cannabis because people OD on it. We have a drug problem in the state.
That's cute.
Like,
it's not cute. It's infuriating.
Yeah, I mean, it's like.
Can you think of a more okay? Even if that was true, though, could you think of a more peaceful way to go?
No shit.
I know, right?
We can't have these people being happy. They need to be terrified as they see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I know. Good God. Well, yeah, I mean, it's
posit that they're just heartless bastards.
They don't know what they're talking about, and best case scenario, they're just being ignorant and
they're pandering. I mean, it's again, they're selling fear.
Right.
The evangelicals who probably did pot when they were in high school and college, who now have seen the light and completely forget about the shit they did when they were kids, are being sold the fear of that marijuana is going to get you high. We had a police chief here in Martinsburg, West Virginia, that would tell people that today's pot is not the same pot that you got in 1970. It's way more potent. And to me, like, who's selling you that shit? I mean, yes, it is potent, but potent is a very relative term. They've learned how to grow it and manipulate whether it's more THC or something or something else, or whether it's got flavors or a lot of research has been going into cannabis to make it better. If you go in to a dispensary and say, these are the issues that I have, what do you recommend? They're able to recommend something that's going to pinpoint your issue, whether it's anxiety or pain, that back in the 70s, okay, yeah, well, ditchweed was fine, or brickweed, whatever you were able to get your hands on was not as potent, but now it's more of a medicinal thing than it is, even just the recreational high that you get off of it. Because
and even if it were just recreational, even if it had no medicinal benefits, it is not harmful. I mean, unless you're taking so much that there is excess in everything, and I'm sure there are ill effects to the excess, but there aren't overdoses.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think of that if you smoke too much of it, you die of smoke inhalation. I mean, that's the only thing. But you would have to be in like a hot box that was, you sat there for like 20 hours. I mean, that
There have, from what I've heard, been links to cancer, and not necessarily lung cancer from smoking, but from what I understand, those studies were also, I mean, they were of amounts that were just, no one's going to be consuming that much.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, back in the day, they had this stuff called Alar that you used to put on apples. It just made them look shiny in the store. And there was a study that Alar would give you cancer. But the amount of apples that you would have to eat to get cancer, you would have died from exploding from eating apples.
Right.
It was like 30,000 a day. I mean, like that, it was just such a ridiculous amount of apples that, and yes, Alar was not a required thing for the apple to be on there. It just made it look better so you buy it from the store. I get that. But it became such a cause celeb for a while that we had to get Alar off of apples. You're giving your kids cancer. No, you would never have given your kids cancer. I mean, if they would have died of old age before they got to cancer.
Right. It's just fear mongering, and the reason I say best case scenario is because the laws were very much purposefully created by racists, extremely bigoted, and so best case scenario, people don't know that, and they're just continuing the propaganda that they were taught. Worst case scenario, they are actively trying to perpetuate false stereotypes and keep poor people poor, etc. It's classist, and racist, and bigoted.
You just have to look at the enforcement rates. The use across the board is similar. Well, demographically, economically, the use is similar. The enforcement is completely, whether if you're poor and you're a person of color, you are far more likely to get tossed in the clink for low-level drug crimes than you are if you're a white kid in the suburban neighborhood. They don't even look in the suburban neighborhoods. They just go into the poor neighborhoods, the rental neighborhoods to ferret out the demon weed. Kathy Hedges Grove says, does anyone know how I can get edibles? Kathy's in West Virginia with me. Kathy, I think we're just going to have to wait until they figure their shit out and can open a dispensary. I would love
From
to be
what I have heard.
Oh, yes.
I have known of someone who has sent edibles from a legal state into a state where it is not legal via the priority mail USPS.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've heard, they packed it in coffee, like ground coffee, and mailed it. They've, from what I've heard, done it several times with no issue.
Allegedly.
So if you really want it, then find someone in a state and see if they could allegedly put a fake return address on it. Don't be stupid. Yes. I've heard that works.
Yes, allegedly
heard.
But that, I mean, outside of that, we're supposed to be getting dispensaries sometime in 21, and I think that Martinsburg has legalized the idea of having a dispensary in town, and actually, I think the county also has approved having, because we're Falling Waters is actually where one of the grow operations is at. I need to find that because I'm in Falling Waters. It's very close to me. But anyway, I think edible is one of the few ways that they are allowing consumption. I know that was one of the complaints early on about the legislation that they did. They had they're not selling smokable at all. They do whole leaf, but they're not selling, like buds or anything like that. They are selling edibles. They did add the whole leaf because you can use it in cooking, and whole leaf. You use the whole leaf in cooking, or you can use the oils and stuff like that. The complaint was that if they weren't if all they could get access to was edibles, like it didn't have great help for cancer patients who were having issues with keeping food down. It just didn't work. So they're hoping that allowing oils and things like that will alleviate. Let somebody take it however they can take it. To me, that just it's absolutely dumb that we're limiting people's access to medicine in this state. Just from the inept rollout that we passed this law in 2017, and it's taken 3 years to we just handed out the licenses for our grow operations in our dispensaries, and we finally have doctors that are able to give you that medical cannabis card. We just don't have a place to take it right now. All right, well, we've been going for an hour and a half, and I'm tired. I got to go to work tomorrow. God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have something to look at work. Woo-hoo!
There's nothing really up yet, so because I got
I wouldn't say
super
that.
embarrassed.
I can take anything.
Oh,
I can
God.
throw it down that road. Yes, I will. That's my crime fighting skill. I can take anything and throw it down that road.
Oh boy.
The name of the first video, Emily gets a Capri Sun.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know what that is.
Juice box.
Is that just a long juice? Okay.
Or Emily makes mac and cheese.
Oh no!
What's that?
Maybe
I shouldn't go down this road. I'm too
It's the same
naive.
concept.
No, I did. I got so embarrassed by my high school friend reaching out to me about it. I'm like, oh my god, maybe I shouldn't do this.
Oh, he's gonna be your first subscriber. He's gonna be your first subscriber.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, make that money.
Lord.
Shoot.
I mean, hell, I'd let y'all film me.
Now the After Dark takes another turn. we'll have a record turnout every week for this week on the After Dark.
Your ratings spike between 2 and 3 a.m. What's going on?
The Cinemax of the political world.
That's right.
You've heard of Bilderberg Group? That's how deep we go.
That's right.
You don't know how deep I go yet. Wait, what?
And something's up now. All right. Well, anyway, thanks everyone for watching us this week. Next week we will have on the Deep Dive show Ashley Shade from Outright Libertarians talking about love and the political messaging. So I look forward to that, and then we'll have a Day After Dark show. Hopefully Ashley can join us for that as well, because we all love Ashley. She's phenomenal. And thank you all again for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week. And let me get the closing video. I've been all not paying attention to shit. So, but anyway, thanks everyone for joining us. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Tyler. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.